Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone is having a good Tuesday. I am. I'm enjoying myself today. Been on Twitter this morning. It's been an eventful morning between um, uh, the FLOTUS setting boundaries in her marriage, which is, I don't even know why people have any issue with that, but whatever. And the disaster that is R. Kelly deciding he wanted folks to ask him questions, and of course they did, and of course it did not go well, as probably should have happened. Um, it's been an eventful morning on Twitter, but I'm not here to talk about Twitter. I'm here to talk about Love and Hip Hop New York and the lessons. As you know, this has been sort of an ongoing series of every week. I watch the show and then I come back with a lesson for the week. And as you know, the lesson is very specific. I don't go into everything on the show because everything is just not something that I can speak on. There are some things that are so out there about that show, really, for those folks. Only therapy will even take care of those things. There are some things that are just such levels of, self-esteem and these issues of, of codependency that nothing I could say here would help anybody, um, and would really do any really good insight. But there are things on there that happen that are just sort of a general thing for you to think about as women out here dating, and the unfortunate fact that many women are doing things like these women and men on this show. Now, I don't talk to men. Men are not my problem. I know women sometimes like, why do you not talk? I don't talk to men. Men are not my issue. Let a man talk to them and stuff, which is really should be happening. And I know there are a few men out there, not enough to talk to them, but really, men aren't my issue. Women are. I care about women, and particularly black women I care about because I'm a black woman, and what it is that they're going through and having to put up with. And watching this week's show, which I'm going to just sort of come and call, believe what people say, this week's lesson, uh, just almost left me in tears. I can't even describe how sad and how much my heart ached looking at that show. And I know some of it is put on for just pure show, but it's just some stuff people are doing, women are doing to themselves, that it almost left me. And I know many people get a giggle and laugh, but listen, this is somebody's life. Somebody's actually living this mess and stuff. And I was just almost in pure tears. Just and I was chatting with someone about it on Twitter after it come on, and I was just almost in pure tears thinking about what it is that particularly black women are putting themselves through to have somebody acknowledge them. That's right, not even really acknowledge them, but to just have some sort of acknowledgement, and I was, I don't know, I was sad. That's the best I could say. I was sad, and it just made me sad. And you know, my thought is, I hope a bunch of black women are doing this. But the thing is, I know a bunch of you are. You can see it kind of out and about. And when you see people, and when you run into people, and when you talk to people, and when you hear people have conversations, and when you hear other people talk about their family members and stuff that they're going through, and then when you hear stuff about your own family members, female family members, the thing is, and when you see stuff, and when you see women talking and chatting and stuff like that, and the thing is, yeah, um, A bunch of women are. And it's just so not necessary. This week started out with Saigon and Erica J, and him asking her to come into the studio so he could talk to her. And she comes in and he starts acknowledging and talking this really bad apology about what he had done to her and how he had talked to her, and there was no excuse for that and stuff. But he came from this, here's how you mess up a sorry. I'm sorry, but and you strap a excuse onto it about why you did what you did. Because there's really no excuse for the way he treated her. As I talked about maybe a video or so ago, how he just totally went off on her when he was talking about maybe thinking that maybe his child was autistic or something, the child they have together. And this sort of, well, I come from a rough family, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Who gives a damn? And who cares? If you're going to apologize to somebody about something, you just need to acknowledge what you've done. You just need to ask the person, will you forgive me? You just need to tell the person how you're going to change and what you're going to do. And then you need to actually go and do it and prove yourself trustworthy. But it was sort of this empty sorry about, well, you're the mom of my child and all this stuff. And, and then you cut to her by herself and she says, he has this pattern. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I thought she didn't see it, but she does actually see it. Here's the strange part. She does actually see his pattern of abuse, but she won't extract herself from the situation. She stays. So he apologizes, and then he says something about taking the child in to see somebody, and she goes, oh yeah, it's okay. And of course, what we do when we're thirsty and needing for somebody to acknowledge us as people, we just take the sorry and we just think, well, if I do this or I do that, or he'll, and really her excuse was, well, really, I know he's acknowledged it, and I know really deep down he's a nice person. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's just not. Nice people don't act like that. Kind people don't act like that. So all this excuse of, yeah, he's so kind and he's so nice really deep down. No, he's not. He's not really kind and nice deep down. Deep down, he's the same asshole he is with you when he was talking to you like that, and grabbing on you and calling you names and, calling you a bad mother and abandoning you with his child. He's that person. That's the person he is. I talked about a long while back in my blog about what happened with me and my ex-husband and my emotionally abusive ex-husband, because he was emotionally abusive. He wasn't physically abusive, or sexually and stuff. And I know there's the verbal abuse and stuff, and there's all sorts of stuff. He was emotionally abusive for pretty much the entire amount of the marriage. And at the end, it got really, really bad. And at some point, I had to let go of this notion that somehow, deep down, he really was a good person. It was just somehow I could make it come out of him. If I could just be with him or love him more or support him more or whatever, he would somehow blossom into this wonderful person. Or this thing of thinking, well, if I could just do something to get him to be like he was when we were first together, and stuff. But the thing I had to figure out at some point was the person he was at the point when I left him, that was truly who he was. Whatever this false person he had been previously was just that. It was a false person. Whatever that false person that Erica J is looking at while he's apologizing for treating her like crap again and again is just that. It's a false person. And the person he was when he went off on you a couple of times, seems like, from what I know from their relationship, That's the person he is. So you need to believe what he does, not what he says. I don't know what it is about us that really wants to cling to what people say and then somehow just forget about what they do. I don't know what it is. I think it's our hope that somehow they're going to be that thing that we really want them to be. And because they're saying it, we're really believing, yeah, yeah, he can be that. He can be that. But really, it don't really matter what people say. Older I get, the more I'm like, I don't really care what people say. I could care less. You could talk all day, talk about what you're doing, talk about this and talk about that and all this sort of stuff. I only care what people do. I don't care what they say. What people say means absolutely nothing to me. Especially if I don't know you or don't trust you. Now there are people who say stuff that I know that they're going to do it because they're trustworthy people and they've proven themselves to be trustworthy. The other folks who are trying to prove themselves trustworthy are the ones that I have already figured out are untrustworthy. Trust me, whatever you say means nothing until you actually do something. And her wanting to believe that somehow this guy that she's been in love with so long is somehow going to love her and acknowledge her and treat her with some respect as the mother of her, as of his child, is just a dream. It's an awful dream. And the thing about that dream is that one day, hopefully, she'll wake up. But the thing is, that time is gone then. You don't get that time back. You don't get those moments again. That time is gone. And you wasted time on a dream. You wasted time listening to what someone said and then somehow just, pushing out all the things that they've done. I remember when somebody was saying something about, the thing about black men and black women and all this sort of stuff. And they were talking about, well, really, the big excuse was, why would black women date? And I guess, black men were going, why would black women date white men? All the stuff that they did during slavery and all, which is all true. It's not like it's not true, you know. But I was somehow supposed to, as a black woman, think about stuff that somebody's ancestors may or may not have done hundreds of years ago. And somehow I was supposed to forget all the stuff that black men do to black women today. I was somehow supposed to just not think about that. And I didn't really understand how that worked. If somebody's treating me good today, I'm not really understanding when I'm supposed to be thinking about some stuff that happened with somebody's, maybe family member hundreds of years ago. I mean, I'm not even understanding that, but maybe that's just me. Because you're not going to treat me like a dog today and then somehow order me that I'm somehow supposed to be mad about some stuff that happened hundreds of years ago. That didn't even happen to me. It's stuff actually happening to black women today. That I was somehow supposed to, my husband who's been treating me really well and is really nice and sweet and takes care of me, that I was somehow supposed to, just punish him for some stuff a long time ago. But I was somehow supposed to give black men passes because, because what? Because y'all say, yeah, we really love black women, but you don't treat black women like you love them. And he was just, he was doing the same thing. Oh, I just love you. So every time somebody says that, and then the next thing they do is abuse you. Oh, God. And she said it was a pattern. And I'm thinking, well, you don't, but see, that's the thing. We don't understand emotional abuse as a pattern. We don't. Everybody thinks emotional abuse is no big deal. And it is. It's a real big deal. And it can do really long-term damage to people. But for some reason, that's not a big, I mean, if somebody hit somebody, we'd be up in arms. But when you talk to people like crap, and when you say crappy stuff to them all the time, somehow that's just seen as not a big deal. You know, when you damage people mentally, whatever, part of life. I'm not, and that damage lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts. And if somebody's going to physically abuse you, they're going to emotionally abuse you first. And so she's being emotionally abused, and I think she knows the pattern, but she doesn't know it as abuse. Because a bunch of us just, a bunch of black women just see that. And they just see that with other women that they know, and they just think that's regular. That's normal, that you have all that drama and chaos in a relationship. So, of course, they go on. And then we come to the Peter, Tara, whatever. So, Peter and Tara. And not Peter and Tara, Peter and Amina are going out, and Yandy's there, and K Michelle's there, and then we just do a little aside. Somebody please find K Michelle a man, okay? She's, please, please, please find her a date. And okay, back from the aside, and and Yandy's there, and of course, I don't really know Yandy's. She's just, Lord, it's just, she's so blank. It's like, wow. I mean, she's sitting around waiting for the man to get out of jail, and she's talking to Rich Dollars about how it's just so draining, and he's saying, you're a strong black woman, and I'm just like, oh God, not that, May again, please with that. And she's saying, I don't want to be strong, which is, yeah, you don't want to be strong, but when you pick these people, these weak people, you have to be strong all the time. When you pick weak people to have kids with, to spend your life with, to go through whatever drama they got going on, when you pick these people of weak character, yeah, you're going to have to stay strong. You're going to have to be strong all your life. Because he's not going to take up no slack. And so Yandy and K Michelle and K Michelle's friend, I keep forgetting her name, go out, and Amina and Peter come in, and they sit down, and of course Yandy doesn't really care for Amina, and and starts saying, and about Peter and them wearing rings, and asking him, are you going to wear a ring home? And Amina's like, well, home is with me and stuff. And I'm thinking, yeah, dumb girl, I know, he is actually married to her, as crappy and as shady as that marriage is, he is actually married to her and stuff, and then K Michelle is just like, well, I'm just gonna ask the question. Which she's actually really funny to me. Because she just says kind of what's on her mind. Well, I'm just gonna ask the question. I know everybody, let's just ask the question. When was the last time you slept with Tara? And then he's looking kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe she asked, and stuff, and trying to look like he wants to hide under whatever chair or table that is that they're there. And then Yandy says, well, he's not going to tell you in front of his wife that he slept with Tara 3 weeks ago. And of course, Amina is like, and I'm just thinking, you're just as dumb. She's just dumb. She's just as dumb as two shoes. I hate to even say that about women. I hate to dog women like that. But she's dumb. She's just as dumb as my mouse ear. I think my mouse is smarter. She's just dumb. I mean, she's just dumb. And so she looks all shocked. And then she's like, well, he isn't coming home at night. And I'm thinking, if he isn't coming home at night, where is he staying? You can't put two and two together. And, and yeah, he did leave his ring. And I told him, aren't you going to wear the ring? And he did leave his ring at home. And of course, she's fussing at him about that. And it's just like, he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about this marriage. He doesn't care about anything. He just cares about himself. So acknowledging or trying to, acknowledge his marriage is the last thing on his mind, because that would Peter from getting something that Peter wants. That would prevent him from somehow manipulating someone else. The man is a narcissist. He's the definition of a narcissistic personality disorder. And if you go on my blog, Married Girl in a Weird World, you will see it. There are books about it. He is a person that is a pure narcissist that does not love anybody. He doesn't love either one of them women. Trust and believe, he doesn't love either one of them women. Because when he talks, all he talks about is him and what he needs and what he wants and what's best for him. That's it. And then he started talking about, well, they may leave me and that may be the best thing for me. And I'm like, God, he's a narcissist. There's nothing matters about maybe these women being heartbroken or hurt about what he's done. It's just, well, if they break up with me, it might be good for me. Really? And so he gets up and Amina's like, what are they talking about? And of course she's, well, what are they talking about? Yeah, and of course she doesn't say anything about the woman saying he slept with the woman. I'm thinking this woman is, oh my. Nobody can be that dumb. Real, but let me not lie. Yeah, they can. Yeah, people can be that dumb. It happens. And so, she's just like, she can't believe it. And she's in the thing where they do it by them, where they do the little part by themselves. Well, he said he was just, staying there to see his kids and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, he's staying with the woman he's been with for 13 years and got 2 kids with. You think he isn't having sex with her? Okay. Listen. My husband doesn't go and stay with some other woman, okay? And it's not like we're in contact with ex-boyfriends or girlfriends or even my ex-husband or whatever. We're not in contact with any of the people. But even there would be no way in hell I would be like, yeah, well, I gotta go spend the night at. What world is that? What world are these people living in? This is the straight bizarro world. I mean, it's like the world of, this is so abnormal. But you know what? People think this is normal, but this is so abnormal. This is the most abnormal thing I've ever seen, and people functioning the most abnormal lives I've ever seen in my life. They are so abnormal. And so he tells her some lie or some excuse, and of course she believes it. And then Yandy goes the next day and she talks to Tara, and Tara is like, well, I can have him and do anytime I want. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're stupid too, because you're thinking that you're doing something by sleeping with this married man. Oh yeah, I can have him anytime I want. Yeah, well, he's over sleeping with his wife too. And then she says something that's so gross. Not even gross. I'm not gonna say it like that because it's not. It's just so. I mean, it made my heart hurt. And she just says it kind of nonchalantly. Yeah, well, we're together. I can have him anytime I want. I've done 2 Plan Bs in 2 months, and I'm like, what? You mean to tell me that you're letting this man who's sleeping with another woman, his wife, have sex with you without a condom? I don't know if I can watch no more. I'm not even lying. I don't know. I'm still trying to think about that. I don't know if I can watch. What levels of self-hate do you have to go to that you would let a man who has cheated on you and married another woman and is living with her and sleeping with her have sex with you anyway, any kind of way, anyway, even with a condom, but have sex with you without a condom, and you end up possibly pregnant twice? What the hell is wrong with black women? What's wrong with y'all? What is going on with y'all? What's happening? What is this about? This is a beautiful, vital black woman. All of them are. What levels of self-hate do we have? What is people's mamas and daddies doing? What are you doing for your black daughters? I couldn't imagine throwing my child out to wolves for them to eat her. That's what it's literally like. Like opening a door and throwing your daughter out to a pack of wild dogs for them to eat her. I couldn't imagine my mom having done anything like that. My mom loved me so much. I mean, she loved and protected me. It was just, it wasn't gonna happen. You wasn't gonna have her daughter. You wasn't gonna just you it just wasn't gonna, I mean, as much as she could. And even though I made some bad decisions, really, I'm telling you the truth. It wasn't because my mom didn't give me information. She did. There was just at some point I just was like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. But it wasn't because my mom didn't give me every single stinking shred of information that she ever had from life, and stuff that she'd read, stuff that she'd seen other people's moms do. All my mom was getting as much as she could and giving it to me and stuff. I mean, that's why I've got a little wisdom now in my old age, because I finally was like, you know what, maybe my mama was right, okay? But what are people doing? And and so then Tara gets really mad, and she's like, well, they're wearing rings, and he hasn't worn a ring around me. They're wearing rings. And somehow she's all mad because he's wearing rings in front of her friends. I'm thinking, Dodo, he's married. But he's been telling everybody two different stories. And of course, she goes and she confronts him. And he starts telling her, well, and she says, didn't you tell me that, that you would divorce her and all that stuff? And he says, well, you didn't want that. And I'm just thinking, it doesn't really matter. If you want her back and you're saying something, and he's been saying this and he's been saying that, he's saying something over here to Amina, he's saying something over here to Tara. No actions, no nothing with nobody. This whole season I've been watching that show. He hasn't done one action at all. And I told you all, he only is married to Amina because he needed a place to live. And I'm telling you, just sure as my name is Eugenia Berg, he needed a place to live. And that's why he's with her. And she's really upset and mad, and he's saying all this stuff about, well, I would do it, and this and that. She was like, and you're sleeping with me. What are you telling her? And all this stuff. Well, of course he's telling her lies. He's telling both of y'all lies. Because, he's all about himself. And when people are all about themselves, that's what they do. They lie to get what they want. Because, there isn't anything I shouldn't be able to do to get what it is that I want. I should be able to lie and cheat and steal. I should be able to do all of that because, I want it. And it's supposed to be for me. People's actions are the only thing that matter, particularly when people are deemed untrustworthy. That's it. That's all. That's all that matters. Stop believing what people tell you and start making them prove it. When you're trying to build trust in a relationship, that's the only thing that matters. Is when you say you're going to do something, you actually do it. That's it. That's all. That's the only way to build trust. If you say you're going to do something and don't do it, then you don't build trust. That's as simple as that. It's not even hard. The reason you trust somebody is because they prove themselves trustworthy. That's it. That's it. I don't trust anybody that doesn't prove themselves trustworthy. I don't care what that means. I don't care what it is. I don't trust people unless they do what they say they're going to do. That's it. There's nothing else. Tara and Amina are in a situation that they've sort of put themselves in because they trust what he says with no action. I swear this boy hasn't done nothing but tell women lies the whole season. Nothing. And then he's over here blaming them and telling Amina on this show, well, you're acting just like Tara. You're doing the stuff Tara did, and that's going to make me leave. Bye. What is it that she should do? But in a world where it's all about you, it doesn't matter. I shouldn't have to do anything. You should do stuff for me because it's all about me. It's all about what I want and what I need. I shouldn't have to do anything to you. I shouldn't have to prove anything to you. If I say something to you, you should just believe it. Because, that's how narcissism works. And then if I don't do it, you know what? Then I'll blame you. Because, you didn't treat me right. Or you're doing the stuff that the other woman did. Or, well, when I told you this, you said no. So it's always your fault. I mean, I didn't do anything. I'm just trying to love you too. And before she left, he was talking to her, talking about, I love you. And she was like, what does it matter about love? And I'm just thinking, you've been letting him sleep with you. So, hey, some of this is on you. Because if you're just letting people get away with stuff, and in the case of Erica J and Saigon, you just letting people get away with stuff. Some of this at some point, I'm going to put it on you. I just am. And some stuff, we all just figure out, but thirstiness and desperation will make you do some really screwed up, self-hating stuff. It just will. And personally, I'm not trying to solve these women's mental problems. I'm just trying to talk to you so you don't end up with them. That's it. Best I can do. So my thought for today is believe what people do. That's it. You want to build trust. You want to build a relationship. Then, when you say you're going to do something, you have to do it. That's all. No excuses, no nothing. If you don't do it, you can actually say, I'm sorry. And you know what? I'm sorry. And I shouldn't have done that. And please forgive me. And I'm not going to do it again. And then go out and do some action. And there you go. That's how you build it. There's no other way. And all them empty, hollow words, whatever. Here's the lesson for today. Whatever with them hollow words. Really, it's like hearing Charlie Brown's teacher when you hear them hollow words. When he was talking to her, it is. It should be like, wah, 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 wah. That's what it should be like. Because it's nothing. And he doesn't love either one of them people. And Saigon is not a kind guy down in his heart. He's just a jackass. He's proven that again and again. And of course, the pattern of abuse will continue. He will do something else to her and she will be mad and upset. And then he will come back and say he's sorry and she'll take him back because that's how abuse works. It's just a circle. It's just a cycle. Same cycle. They're fine for a little while and then something happens and they do what they do because, folks like that, they can't keep themselves in check forever. They can't do that forever. They have to break. And he'll go off and emotionally abuse her again. And she'll talk about leaving. Blah, 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 I'm leaving. And then they'll be like, oh, no, she can't go anywhere. I can't let her go. I need her so I can abuse her. I need her for that. And then he'll come back and I'm sorry and I promise I'll never do it again. And then it'll happen all over again. There you go. Bam, pow. Yeah. So, such is life. Hope you took the lesson for a day. This is like one of my today's, I have to say, is like one of the most important ones that I've ever done in this whole little series. This one is one you need, okay? Stop believing people and their empty words. Start looking for some actions. Start looking for some action. I believe in those empty I'm sorries and I love yous. My husband could never, he says he loves me all the time. He says he loves me all the time. And I love it. I love it. Really, we do want to hear that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know what? If he didn't do any actions of I love you, it wouldn't feel good when he said it. It would feel like nothing. And really, he could never say I love you. And all of his actions would prove to me that he does. But he does it and he says it, which is like the best of everything. But if he just did the I love you with no action, it would be hurtful. And I know that's why Tara was screaming and hollering, because it's hurtful. Because she knows deep inside, deep inside, really, even if you aren't admitting it, even if you aren't, when you lay down on your pillow late at night by yourself, you know he don't love you. You know that. And it's hard to admit, but you know it. So stop listening to those empty words. Get some action. You know, that's what folks need. Is some action. Some love action. Love is a verb. It's not a noun. It's a verb. So I'll talk to you guys next week. And hopefully you have a really good week. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.